Hello everyone, welcome back. So in this video, we'll be discussing about Amazon S3 and how to create a bucket and add objects to it. And in the end, we'll be seeing how to access the objects through internet using the ACLs. So let's see how can we access Amazon S3. For that, initially you can go services here. And since it's the storage service, go to the storage at the end, click that. And here you can see there is S3. So scalable storage in the cloud. So click that. So that is how I was able to access this console. So once you are in this console, create a bucket. So click create. So initially, let's add a name for the bucket and it should be unique. And one more thing, it's a global service. So Amazon S3 is a highly scalable and secure storage solution for storing and retrieving the data over the internet. And it's a global service, as you can see here. So let's add some unique name here. So I'm just adding my name just to be unique. I hope it is unique. So coming to the next one, ACLs. So in this case, we'll keep it disabled as it is recommended. So according to AWS, so AWS recommends that you keep ACLs disabled, except in unusual circumstances when you must control access to each object individually. So that is when you'll be enabling these ACLs, which we'll be doing in just a few minutes. So if you click here, you see we have other options. So we'll be seeing that in just a minute. So as of now, let's keep it as disable. And coming to block public access. So the block public access settings for Amazon S3 bucket is a security measure that helps to prevent unintentional public access to the contents of the bucket. So when enabled, these settings restrict public access to the bucket and its objects, reducing the risk of exposing the sensitive data. So that is why it's block all public access. So whenever it is on, so the objects you can't access this publicly. So as of now, I'll just keep it as default, and down the line, once we create the bucket and add the objects, then we'll remove this. So we'll see how that is done. So coming to the next one, it's a bucket versioning. So bucket versioning in AWS S3 is a feature that allows you to keep multiple versions of an object within a bucket. So when you enable this versioning for a bucket, every time you upload or update an object, a new version is created and stored in the bucket. So that is what the bucket versioning is. So in this case, it's disabled. So I'll just leave it as disabled as of now. And the next one is tags. So tags are used to add metadata or labels to your objects stored in the bucket. So they help you to organize, categorize, and manage your objects more efficiently. That is the reason why we use the tags. So in this case, I'll just leave it as default. And coming to the default encryption, I'll just leave it as default as well. So based on your requirement, you can select the encryption levels. And the next one, if you click the advanced settings, we have object lock. So object lock is a feature that allows you to enforce a write once and read many. In short, we can call it as WOM model. So for your objects stored in S3 bucket. So object locks provides a way to prevent accidental or malicious deletion or modification of your data over a specific retention period. So that is what the object lock is. So I think I've explained like most of the stuff here. So let's create a bucket and let's see how it goes. So since I have a unique name, I was able to create it. For example, let's say like you just add like sample bucket or something like that. Usually you will be having an error, making sure like the error will be like you have to make sure that the name is unique because there is other person who has used that bucket name. Like, so that is the reason you have to make sure unique. So you can just add your name and some like characters so that it can be unique. And here you can see the access levels. So bucket and the objects are not public. So let's go ahead and upload some objects. So in this case, I'll be uploading image. So let's upload an image here. So let me add here. So I have added one image named one.png. And in this case, I'll just leave everything normal and let's go ahead and create it. So I've uploaded the file. So let's try to access it. So you can see this is the object URL. And if I try to access this object, obviously we'll be having access denied, since you can see like whenever we have created, we have blocked all the public access. So we have to remove that. So if I go back here, so if you can see the permissions, you can see block all public access. So edit this one and remove this and save changes. Confirm it and done. So what do you think? Can we access it now? Let's refresh. No, we are not able to access it. So what should we do? So let's go back. Initially, we were able to access, but like because of few updates, we have to do some other changes as well. So here, go to object ownership, click edit, and one more thing. If you go back here, so if you click the object and actions, you can see there are some sections which are disabled, make public using ACLs. So these are disabled. So to enable this, we have to use this ACL. So if I go back here again, back. So permissions, object ownership, enable, you see enabling ACL turns off the bucket owner enforcing settings for the object ownership. So once the bucket owner enforces setting is turned off, access control lists, or in short, we can call it as ACLs as well, and their associated permissions are restored. So access to the objects that you do not own will be based on ACL and not the bucket policy. So I acknowledge it and just do the save changes. And if I go back here, if I click here, let's see if that is disabled. If I click here, there you go. Now you can see we can make this public. So before that, let's try to access now, since we have changed a few sections. So similarly, we were not able to access it. So let's give a public access to that, and let's see if we can access it. Make it public. Done. Let's try to refresh now. There you go. So we were able to access the image that I have uploaded. So this is how you can add your files and make it public. So you can add the static files and you can create a static website, and similarly, this is how the result will be. So if I go back, let's see how to delete this S3 as well. So if I go back, I'll be deleting the objects first. So permanently delete. Spaces. There you go. Delete object. Done. So if I close this, and if I go to the bucket section, if you click the bucket, and there is other option where you can empty the objects. So if I click empty, and no objects found in bucket Ravi, since we have already deleted that. So where is my bucket? Click that bucket and delete it. So here you can just add your bucket name, which is MRT Ravi. Delete. There you go. So you have successfully deleted your bucket. So if I go, let's refresh this one. There you go. We don't have any buckets as of now. So this is how you can create the buckets and add the objects to it and make it public, and you can access it. So that is how you can create the buckets. And while creating the buckets, there are few rules that you have to follow. So which I have written a blog on it, and you can find it in the Medium as well as my Instagram channel. So I'll be keeping that in the description for your reference. So coming to this video, I hope you guys have understood the concept of today's video. If you have liked the video, please click the like button below. And if you've not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel and please share the video. Thanks everyone.